I'm going to be announcing, or I have already announced, that I'm going to be doing. So being in quarantine has given me a lot of time to reflect on the past, put a lot of things into perspective, and give me a clear vision of what I want to achieve going forward. And this is why I'm here to talk to you guys about that. For me, I've never really been the guy to air all my dirty laundry or my negative thoughts or how I'm feeling if I'm low on social media, because when I started social media, I always thought it was about being positive, trying to educate and be inspirational to others, not show your weaknesses as such. So for me, I kind of hid away from that, and the last 2 years, I didn't realise how much it's affected me, and I feel like I want to share it with you guys, especially people who have followed me over the years. And I think you'll all agree that the last, I'd say 2 years, I've not really been myself, as in where I've placed in shows, how forward thinking I've been with content, social media, how engaging I've been with you guys, and also business. I've not really been proactive as I used to be, and that all really stems back to the 2017 Olympia. If you guys have followed me, that is when I was living in America. I was second place in the world going into that show, and I was the current Arnold Classic champion. So at present, up to that point, I was winning most of the shows I was going into, and I had a lot of business opportunities. Things were going very well, and I must admit, going into the 2017 Olympia, I had a lot of pressure on myself, which I put on myself, but as well from outside, from sponsors who were wishing me well and wanting me to obviously take that title. Other pro athletes who were bullying me up and saying that I'm going to be taking the title from Jeremy Buendia that year. I had family, friends who all believed in me enough to surprise me, where my best friend, for instance, saved up all year. He lives in Australia to be able to come to the Olympia and surprise me, and it's the first time he would have ever seen me on stage. I had my sister and my brother who saved as well, who have families of their own, and obviously it's an expensive trip to get to Vegas in order to come and support me and surprise me. I had my mum turn up. I had Amy's family who'd never seen me compete. They came out to the Olympia. I had 3 different camera crew, which was about 7 or 8 people in total. And I must admit, I did feel the pressures. And that prep alone was quite difficult. Moving to America 12 weeks before the Olympia, things weren't the norm. Obviously, I was out of my comfort zone, I was out of my routine, and it showed. My physique didn't match up to previous Olympias, and I dropped to 6th place. And after that show, I didn't realise how much it affected me. I lost a lot of confidence. I thought my career was over at that point. I went into a very negative spiral for at least 3 or 4 months when I was in America. And I remember Amy coming to me, who, by the way, has been my absolute rock when it comes to this part of my career and my life. And she said, like, what are you doing this for? Why are you going to the gym, and why are you eating? Because you can see you're not enjoying it and you've lost your way. And we made a decision there and there. I had a little cry and a breakdown, that we had to go back to the UK, go back around family, friends, go back to the routine I know, and try and find the love for the sport again. And that's what we did. We moved back to England, and in that time I was trying to channel my energy into other things. So we bought a house and a huge renovation project, so then I could devote all my time to that rather than think about the past Olympia and how I'd let people down. So that was probably a covering mechanism by building this thing. Even though it's our dream home and I'm proud of what we've achieved, I think that was a way of me channeling my energy into something else. And a huge part of my life, which I absolutely loved, was our wedding. Again, channeled all my focus, energy into that, and away from competing, away from what happened in the past. And I didn't really address it. I just kind of quashed it and tried to forget about it. Went into the 2018 Olympia, 6 weeks out. Because I was mentally not there and confident in myself, I think physically it showed, and hence why I got the injury. I tore my labrum in my hip 6 weeks out from the Olympia. And it was excruciating. It was so painful. Again, I didn't want to let people down. I was determined not to, against doctors' advice and people's advice, and I competed. 6 weeks out, I couldn't train arms, couldn't train lower body. I was in immense pain, but we got through the Olympia and I placed third in the world, so I got back up there. Again, I'd still not won a show in 2 years, and it was starting to affect me in a lot of ways, and we went under the knife because I knew I had to get it sorted. I could hardly walk, and it went wrong, drastically wrong. And I think, again, because I wasn't in a mental positive state, I think the recovery process affected me more than it should have done. So 8 weeks later, 2 surgeries later, it looking very bleak about me getting to the Olympia. Again, negative thoughts, and although obviously the sponsorships have been phenomenal and they've been so supportive of me, I feel like I lost my way in business. I had so many ideas I wanted to bring to the sports world, and I kind of just let them go by the wayside. I was quite negative about all that, and it was only really coming into the pandemic and coming into lockdown, it's actually made me realise, which it shouldn't have done this, it's given me the time to reflect and to realise I'm 5th in the world, which is still a phenomenal feat, and I'm not done yet. And I know if I channel the right energy into my training, the positive thoughts and the belief in myself, then we can get that first place. And I do feel like I've turned a huge corner. I've already implemented 2 business ideas, which I should have done 3-4 years ago. But again, it's something I wanted to do back then, and now I'm doing it full force, which is very exciting. I'm just going to keep that under wraps. Some of you might know, some of you might not, but you will know in due time. And I'm going to be announcing, or I have already announced, that I'm going to be doing the Olympia. And I know that sounds a bit, well, we always do the Olympia, but for me, I really mean it. I'm going to do the Olympia and go for that first place. Training has been on point, even though it's hard and it's obviously had its hurdles, being in quarantine and being in lockdown, but there's no stopping me. I'm training every day, I'm eating well, the weight's coming down, and I feel good, I feel excited, which is a new for me, and that's why I've told you guys, I've opened up to you. Some people think, why have you done that? But that's just me, and I want to be honest going forward and let you into my world a bit more than just what I've been putting out for the last few years. So I apologise if people have lost a bit of faith in me, but I guarantee you will get it back this year, because we are doing the Olympia. September 2020, prep has already started, we're 20 weeks out. I'm going to show you step by step through the weeks of how my body's going to change, how I'm adapting my nutrition, my training, in order to get to my best on the Olympia day. So thank you for watching this. Sorry I blabbered on a little bit, but please subscribe to the channel so then you can see my updates through the Olympia prep, and hopefully you'll follow me on the journey. Thanks for watching. As I mentioned before, I'm starting my prep and I'm going full force towards September.
Never could have been thinking I would know what the future bring. All the highs and lows, said I'm gonna win, though the world might spin. Now I'm sitting here like I'm no one. It rains down on me, all the phone calls I'm ignoring. See, I'm a mess, just trying to guess my way through this. Just don't get enough of me. 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 Worry way too much, got a policy. Didn't bring me luck, just the honesty. Now it's all on me, if I'm gonna win. Oh, I'm just gonna get up. It rains down on me, all the phone calls I'm ignoring. See, I'm a mess, just trying to guess my way through
first check-in on the 2020 Olympia. As you can see, I'm still carrying a bit of body fat, but obviously we've got 20 weeks in order to just strip the body fat down and maintain as much muscle as possible. So my current stats at the minute are 216 pounds first thing in the morning. My heaviest weight on this off-season was 220, so obviously we came down already with 4 pounds. My stage weight is normally around 190, and I'm going to be aiming for that again, I think, on this prep. I'd say I'm around 14% body fat, but we won't know that until obviously the lockdown has ended and I can go and have my calorie readings done with the guy I've always used. But like I say, I am physically, mentally prepared for this prep. I cannot wait for it, to be honest with you. So fingers crossed, the Olympia will be going ahead in September and I will be there.